Hello cave dwellers, the big push to get the cave ready continues. We're into week 2 of September and picking up where our last video left off when we went shopping. Things are arriving, all sorts of things, starting with the air conditioning unit, and it's a bit of a beast. James and Johnny are here from Ace Comfort Cooling in Stroud, who I can't recommend enough, and I don't envy them for having to lift this into position. Johnny, by the way, is going to appear as a postman in an upcoming Sky TV commercial apparently, so we have an actor in our midst. I'll try and pick up some tips. The idea of this unit's position is so that it sends cool air all the way down the length of the room, and that air gracefully falls, the heavy cool air cooling us down as we use the machines. If we stick our heads outside, the split unit lives on the roof here, and I'm afraid the language used in getting that out of the window makes for completely unsuitable YouTube viewing, so I can't show you that. Nice trees though. And then came the moment of truth, the testing. It's above me now, it's off because it does make a little bit of noise when it's running, so it's not suitable for filming. But I can tell you, it's been here for a few days now. It shoots air all the way down the length of the room. That lovely heavy cool air just falls gracefully on top of you while you're using the machines in the exhibition area, and it does an incredible job. I was really quite worried about this because it is a really big room to cool despite the size of that monster that's hanging up there above us. And it is super secure, it's not going to land on anyone's head. And it's really doing a great job. We've got a thing on the wall to control it, of course, but there's also an app. So just like all the electrical sockets in here, which I can turn on and off on my phone, I can even turn the air conditioning on and off. This is the cave, all in here, everything you need to do. So I hope I don't lose it or we're stuffed. So that air conditioning is the first thing that I can really say loud and proud thank you to all of the colouring book backers and to the patrons, because you're the guys that have funded this and it's transformed the place. I can't even imagine opening it without that now, such was the heat that was in here. Moving on to our next project now, this is the next part of the cave, a new part of the cave, the recreated retro computer shop, which we begin this week. And that means me sacrificing my office. Don't worry, I'll tell you where I'm moving to later, but first I had to go about the job of clearing out the whole office so we could use it. Meanwhile, back in the main room, I collared Jack's electrical services, who wired up the aircon, and I've got them to get my lights connected up. We're using some nice metal, a helping hand there. Anyway, some nice metal trunking, which is in keeping with the room, and it's being bent into shape here. And then it's being fitted up to run all of the cabling all the way along the beams into those old theatre lights. And that's just wired into the normal lights so it comes on with the existing light switch. And I've got a little remote control for them so I can colour change them, I can fade them, I can do all of that fun stuff to create the ambience that we want to have in here. It's nice to have them working properly. I must say a quick thank you to our sponsor this week, it's PCBWay.com. Head over to their website for an instant quote for your PCB, for CNC work and for 3D printing. Or explore the shared projects to put them straight into your basket ready to go. Now it's been a while since we've had a browse at these shared projects, and look who I found in here. Mark has shared a Sinclair Spectrum composite mod PCB to replace the RF modulator in the machine, so you can just put that straight in your basket and get it delivered to you, as well as a romantic robot multi-face. Although the less we talk about Mark's romantic robots, the better. Head over to PCBWay.com to find that and a whole lot more, and we thank them for supporting the show today. So we're really bashing through the work today, the aircon, the lights, and now let's go back into the shop. And in order to build the shop, we need materials. And well, let me take you downstairs to show you what we're working with here. This is the walk, sped up of course, from the cave down to the storeroom on the ground floor, where just the day before I'd unloaded around about 900 kilograms, I'm not exaggerating here, 900 kilograms of wood and shop fittings off of lorries and put it in here. And it's now my job to get it all up the stairs. Yeah, it's keeping me fit. We've got lots of lengths of CLS wood, we've got cream slat boards for that authentic retro shop look, we've got the shelves, everything we need to create this shop, so let's get it up the stairs. And while I was bringing that all upstairs, Mark and Dean had arrived to start work on the shop, so I'm just feeding the wood through to them while they're building the shop. Now, we're not exactly shop fitters, that will be evident to any shop fitters out there, but we're giving this our best shot. So that means building frames for the slat wall to go on. We want to get them nice and straight, especially against the old stone walls. And we also want to make it solid so that it doesn't fall down and crush anyone. Although I can think of worse ways to go than being crushed under the weight of a wall of retro games. Doesn't sound too bad to me. And Mark and Dean put in some really long shifts to get this right. They worked through the weekend and we all agreed that it was worth the effort because it really does elevate this place. The level of nostalgia that you're going to be able to experience by walking into a recreated shop is just going to take it off the scale. I think people are going to love it. I've certainly got lots of great memories of herring down to the computer shop on my bike or on the bus or on the train when I went to those further afield shops, and just the anticipation of picking games off the shelves and then getting them home and seeing if it was actually any good, the game that you could buy with whatever pocket money you had. And the funny thing is, with the high streets going the way they are at the moment, they're really deteriorating in the UK. Just such is the prominence of online retailing now. The shop itself might be retro soon, who knows, but at least we can still get all the shop fittings and things like that now so we can build the shop. But the experience of shopping, as well as the games, is fast becoming retro. Now, as well as games, a good video game shop had a demo unit that you could walk up to and play on. So we've got to put one in too, and we're doing it in this pillar. We're building a frame which will house a CRT and a system in there, while engulfing that bit that protrudes from the wall, which is a risk for people to bash their heads on. So we've got that out the way, and we'll put a shelf in the frame for the CRT. And then the slat wall starts to go up onto the frames, which is a little bit fiddly with the angled ceilings and the odd things sticking out of the walls, but Mark and Dean dealt with that brilliantly. Now, what else does a video game shop need? We've got the slat walls, the shelves, the demo unit you and a friend can walk up to and play. Obviously, we'll need some bits of information because it's still an exhibition, so we want to explain certain aspects. So we've got these frames that can clip on and we can put information sheets on to explain different things that were happening in the year that the games came out, the machine that you might be playing on, things like that. We'll want posters on the walls, everything to create that atmosphere. And then I really think what we need high up in a corner is a CRT playing some videos. Now, to achieve that, I bought an old device which I've used before. It's called a WD-TV or Western Digital TV. It's just a little box with a USB port on the side and composite video out, which is key. I could have used a Raspberry Pi, of course, but this thing was just a tenner and I know it's fit for purpose. So we'll get that unboxed and then we'll pair it up with a CRT. Maybe not this Sony one because I want to keep that in the exhibition area, but I'll find one that we can use. And this Sony has a SCART input, so I'll just pop a SCART to composite adapter on the back. And it also outputs phono audio from the WD-TV, so that will go in there too. And the good news is that it's working, so that's good. I found this thing on eBay, so it did say it was working, but you're never quite sure about these things. There's a really simple interface to play music or video or whatever media you want. And then when it came to video, my first attempt didn't go so well because, of course, I needed to re-encode the videos. We're not going to get 1080p through a CRT, so I need to use a bit of software called Handbrake to convert it to a format that we could use. And then it worked, and let me just give you a flavour of what we're going to be playing in the shop.
Ocean, the brand leader, presents We Are the Champions, a fantastic collection of chart-topping games in a special box pack. International Karate Plus, an amazing update of the greatest karate beat-em-up yet. In the knife-edge world of the vigilante, there is no place to rest. Play Renegade, play mean. Rampage, the game where nice guys don't get a look in. Beyond infinity lies the evil galaxy dominated by the forces of the despotic salamander. A hero must persuade his compatriots to join him on a journey into hell and beyond. To defeat this devil, they must overcome forces mankind cannot perceive.
Yeah, these old promo videos are from the shop W.H. Smith on the British High Street. It's still around, but it used to be a shop that I would go to buy my video games from, and I think it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. The excitement in that narrator's voice, the old 8-bit and 16-bit games playing. When I went into these shops as a kid, we had so little acknowledgement of our hobby, of our video game hobby, even though video gaming was growing bigger and bigger and catching up with the movie industry and all of the rest of it. It still felt very niche back then. So if you went into a shop and you saw a video like that playing and your little niche hobby was acknowledged in such an exciting way, almost a mainstream way, your ears really pricked up and you would go to that corner of the shop and you would just stare with your mouth open and watch these videos playing. And as soon as this thing started playing on the CRT, that's exactly what I did. I couldn't stop filming it. I couldn't stop watching it. It just brings back so many memories, and I hope that has exactly the same impact on anyone who walks into the shop. Doubly so because they'll be hearing it, they'll be seeing it, and then their senses will be filled with all the games and everything else that's going on there and in the cave. So I'm really happy about this. And speaking of things on the telly, here's a little something else that happened last week.
Of nostalgia. So one Gloucestershire man is hoping to capitalise on that. He's opening a retro gaming hands-on exhibition. Here's Jules Hyam.
Now, if you ever feel the need to suddenly feel at least 30 years younger, we have discovered the secret. It's very easy. All you have to do is play a game that you played when you were young. Maybe a computer game on the Atari. Or what about this one that I had when I was 11, the BBC Micro, or the game I played for the whole of the year I was 23, Tetris on a Game Boy. And you can play any of those right here at the Cave.
Yes, we made it onto the BBC. You saw the film crew here in the last update video, and they gave us some really, really positive coverage. They were teasing the cave throughout the whole news bulletin. We were the good news piece at the end. And it was just superb to see such enthusiasm for the place. It really was a good news story, and they really hyped it up. And in their little 2-minute segment, which featured Mark, he managed to get himself in there. Of course he did.
It's got a hardness rating of about 26 out of 10. Quite a lot of these machines are in quite a poor state, even the ones that haven't been scrapped. So it's really nice to bring them back and to see people's reactions to the things that they experienced when they were younger.
Yeah, it is. But I think anyone who watched it will agree with me that the real star of the show was the weatherman at the end.
What did you play in?
Microsoft Flight Simulator. The very first version.
What was it called?
Vector graphics around Chicago Airport and everything. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now on a version which bears no comparison, I can assure you.
Of course you did.
Flight Sim fans, loud and proud, represent. Well done, that weatherman. So how is the shop build coming on this week? Let me take you in there and give you a little tour of where we've got up to. Now, it's not finished yet. We need another week on this, and we've got it all booked in for Friday and Saturday to work on this. But it really does start to feel like a retro shop when I step in here. There's the demo plinth over there. I've got a little plastic tray to sit in front of it and hold controllers, and it's not blue, it is clear. It's just got blue protective wrapping on there. There's the CRT, and above that some examples of games on pegs, some Master System games there. So you start to get an idea of the look we're going for. And of course there's lots of rough edges that we need to clean up once we've built it, things like these edges here. We've got some plastic L molding to go on there just to cap it off nicely. Around the CRT, some acrylic, we'll need to tidy all that up, but you get the idea. And at this point, I'd love to show you the shelves up on the slat wall, but we've had a bit of a disaster. It's really held us back this week. We bought all of these brackets that slot into the wall here, and if you look really closely, they don't sit flush to the wall, which means your shelving sits forward slightly, and it just looks odd if all the shelves are leaning forward. It looks like a bodge job, and we can't have that at all. Now, I was left scratching my head, we all were, because we're not shop fitters, so we were wondering if we'd done something wrong here. Is there some secret trick of the trade that we should know about? And no. After much deliberation, I spoke to the supplier, putting my hands up and confessing, look, we don't really know what we're doing, but we don't think this is right. Are we missing something obvious? And he said to me, oh yeah, we've got a dodgy batch from our supplier. What we recommend you do is put some rubber, you know, like the rubber feet that you put on consoles and things, put them on the back. Now, I wasn't really gonna have that. I didn't want to go out and buy 1,000 rubber feet. So we got the agreement that we could return them. I found another shop fitting company just down the road miraculously. There's a huge warehouse very close. I wish I'd found them in the first place. And they've really been our saviours. So take a look here, I managed to get some new fittings. These shelf brackets are even better because they've got screw holes to screw up into the shelf, and the shelves will sit nice and flat on that. So we have got everything we need now to finish the shop, and we'll give it one more push and have it ready to show you in the next video. But I'm really pleased with the progress we've made on it, and I'm really excited about the way this is coming together. And there's still another slat wall to be built at the end of the room, so there'll be more displays to show you once we've got this finished. So, aircon, lights, the shop, it's all going on. And there's also other little things that have been going on behind the scenes. You know, in between waiting for things to arrive and DIY going on, there's always more to do. And a good example of that is over in the library area. So the library is full of magazines, and protecting magazines with magazine bags was, well, it was a shock. It was a huge shock when I looked up how much proper bags are, and when you need thousands of them, you're in big trouble. So I spent some time coming up with a solution this week, and the solution was food bags. Yep, it's about £35 for 500 large bags, and even less for the smaller ones. So I've been bagging up all of the magazines to protect them while also enabling people to be able to take them out for a read. So it's a combination of a bag, a bit of grey board, which is a nice bit of backing there to give it some support. And that to me seems like a nice compromise between price, protection, and also keeping it practical for people to use them. So I'm pretty happy with this solution. You can see an Amiga format there, all nice and snug in the bag. You can see how they're all standing up in the shelf. Now there you can still read the spines and see what they are and pick out the one that you want to get. And yeah, I'm just pleased to have found a solution, because I had a bit of a heart attack when I first saw the price of magazine bags, and the problem is now solved. Another things we've been working on and haven't quite finished or have finished include Mark's drawers for the console storage. So you can see now that we've lined the drawers with white paper, and we've also painted the underside of the drawers, it really bounces the light around. This thing really lights up now, and I'm really pleased with the result of that. I think that's really effective and nice. We've got some RGB lighting down the back of the workbenches to throw light onto that nice stone wall in the exhibition area. Just subtle, but a nice touch, I think. The details matter, and as we get all the big things done, like the shop and everything else and the glass cabinets, we're then going to really hone in on those details, all those little finishing touches to make this even more special, and that's an example of that. And then over here on the big drawers from the plan drawers, I showed you before we had all the cassette tapes in there, and now we've got the lining to go under them and also the acrylic to go on top of them. So I just need to get some wooden strips to go down the sides. We can secure the acrylic into place, and then people can enjoy looking at them while keeping them protected as well and safe. And of course, after all of that, a big cleanup was needed. So it was time for the mop and bucket and the hoover and everything else to reset and get things back to how they should be. Phew. What a week we've had. Really has been all hands on deck, and it continues as we try to drive towards that goal of having this place ready, hopefully for the end of September. It's going to be so close, but I hope we do it, and it's coming along beautifully. Now, some of you will still be wondering where my desk has gone, and some big news, but don't get too excited. It's behind the wall here. We have now rented the rest of the space up here. So we've got the whole floor up here, the area that we've earmarked for the secret arcade if we ever reach that 2,000 patrons level. Well, we're renting it now. We're not, of course, not committing to the secret arcade because our Galaxian cabinet isn't even fixed yet. We saw that broke in the last video. So if we're going to have rows and rows of cabinets, we need to get our pledges up to that level so that we can cover the maintenance costs. That's just common sense. But the rent is pretty fair, so we can manage to stomach that. And I promise you, there's not going to be any mission creep. We're not going to go beyond that wall for anything other than putting my desk right now. And I'm not going to show you it because my mum will be disappointed if she sees how messy my room is. So I'll show you that when I've tidied it up, maybe in the next video. It's also full of a lot of the landlord's furniture. We're going to help him remove that as well and clear that space. It's about 50 meters square, so about the same size as the studio space. So quite a big space out there, lots of storage space, and we'll find lots of uses for it. But for now, we're just concentrating on this area. And I hope you'll join me next week when we will continue the build. And thank you so much to everyone for your continued support, for your views, for your patronage, for backing the colouring book, everything that you're doing to make this possible. On those long, dark nights when we're working on leftover pizza and cold cups of tea and just striving to get this place finished, it's that encouragement that really does help to drive us, because we know you want to come and see this place. We know you're enjoying watching us build it, and we know how many of you want to come and see it. And I want to get this place perfect for you. And that's what we're going to keep pushing for. Thank you as always for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.